everybody, and welcome to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. This is live on TikTok, but also you can do the catch-ups on YouTube and also IGTV. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to click on subscribe and notifications. And also on IGTV, you can go ahead and follow us. We do this live on TikTok every Monday afternoon from 3:30 p.m. till 4:30 p.m. And Eugene, what is the topic for today?
Today's topic is dealing with betrayal.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Dealing with betrayal is the topic today, and we will talk about that in just a moment. Welcome back to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. Today's topic, we are speaking about dealing with betrayal. What is betrayal? There are so many different definitions for betrayal out there. But in a nutshell, betrayal is when you trust somebody and they just break that trust. You believe in somebody and they make you believe in the wrong thing. They betray your thoughts, they betray your emotions, and this can be according to life, love, and business. Betrayal itself can cause distress. It can damage your self-esteem. It can give you self-doubt. It can make you angry. It can even make you do some life-altering changes. What do you say, Eugene?
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. Betrayal, yes, you're gonna go through like stages, aren't you? You're gonna get that anger part anyway, regardless. Like, because no matter what, you've been betrayed. Like, and then you're gonna get that self-doubt part. It's phases. Like, it hurts, then you start doubting yourself, and then you start preparing yourself, and then you move on. But there's always that feeling inside you that you've been betrayed. And then the next time you meet someone else, you're always a little bit more guarded against that person because you know what I mean? And that's not always a good thing.
Yeah. If you speak about the cycle of betrayal, there's often, depending on where you are in your life, you get that shock factor, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I trusted them, or I can't believe I signed that contract in the business meeting. And then the denial phase where you start getting that fear of whether you're going to do that again. And then you start having that self-doubt of whether you're actually able to do it again. And that is when that anger sometimes kick in. And the anger is not always, and this is the sad part, the anger is not always necessarily targeted at the person who's betrayed you, but you become angry at yourself sometimes.
Oh,
And that
mm,
is the really hard part, when you become
mm,
angry at yourself because of what somebody else has done to you or
mm,
your
mm.
business or your life or your relationship.
And I think like especially like if we had to look at our environment, like when people on social media, you feel an injustice, you feel that they've betrayed you. It's also this big thing. Like we then seem to like let their opinions of us form that bond of betrayal because we're letting what they think of us affect us in a way that we feel betrayed by them. And you're like, well, instead of just being like, well, does it really matter? Like from that perspective, you know what I mean? But obviously, in other perspectives, like business, if someone betrays you in business, you're not going to be like, okay, well, you're going to try and sort it out, or you're never going to do business with that person again. And you're going to be a lot more guarded doing business with anyone else because you feel like you're going to be betrayed. And then this becomes this vicious circle. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. So betrayal is not always easy to get over, but before we get so deep into it, you mentioned the social media side of things. We take, people are becoming very social media sensitive around the world. And if you take something like TikTok, for example, if I go and I start sharing your videos or using your sounds or liking your videos, and you don't do the same for me, Is that betrayal? Is it betrayal, or is it just me being oversensitive?
I think that's oversensitivity, but okay. But yeah, it
Because
depends on what your
you
level of
entrust,
betrayal feels like.
yeah, you entrust somebody else to do unto you as you want to do unto others. You know that saying? So
Mm.
if I'm going to go and share 10 or 20 of Eugene Wood's videos, and I do that 3 times a week, I would like to expect him to do
Yeah.
the same thing. The mistake there is the expectation. So when you start building up an expectation for people, that is when you lead yourself into a form of betrayal. You actually then start betraying yourself because of an expectation. So one of the key messages here is not to have an expectation of people, whether it comes to life, love, or business. Yes, we all deserve to be treated according to our own self-worth. But if somebody doesn't do that to you, doesn't mean you must do the same to them.
100%. This actually brings me to something that Gary Vaynerchuk said. I'm like a big Gary V fan, yeah. And one of the things that, and I love this quote. I've even done TikToks about this quote, where it's like, I don't mind giving information and helping other people wherever I possibly can. Okay. And if I ever come back to you and I ask you for help and you don't help me, I'm okay with that. My expectation of you helping me is, it, I don't mind if you don't, but it'd be cool if you did. But my expectation isn't there that you have to help me. So that when I do come and ask for that help and you say no, or you don't do it, or you don't say anything, I have that feeling of betrayal. Because at the end of the day, I don't mind helping, and it's not for a reward based system. I'm not doing it so that I get rewarded later. I'm doing it because this is how I'm driven. How so not expecting people to do certain things in return for you is a good way to start, because then when people are having an opinion of you, you're not going to take that opinion on board as much because that expectation
Yeah.
is not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I recently did a video about how everybody will show you how they want to be treated. Like everybody loves differently. And one lesson, one big life lesson I've learned is that not everybody's like me. I like to follow through, for example. And one of my friends said to me, not everybody's like you. Then you can't expect everybody to follow through. And it comes right back down to the expectation that I want to be treated the way I treat you. And when you build that expectation up, you can't feel betrayed because it's actually your own expectation which you've built up. Take a relationship, for example. There is a fine line. So if you take a relationship, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a life relationship, whether it's a family, if I'm in a relationship like I am right now, I expect not to be cheated on. That's an okay expectation. So where do we say an expectation of what you expect? Well, expectation of what you expect is okay when it's actually not.
No, exactly. When is an expectation okay when it's actually not?
Exactly.
And that, like, if you think about, like, when you expect from others, already your expectation is too high. Like, I
Yes.
was actually speaking to someone over the last 2 days, and their expectation of people is so high because of the way they try and live their life. So when they don't get that need fulfilled, it really, really affects them. And it was a dark place that they were in because they expect so much from others. And I'm trying to say that that's not the right way to think. Like,
Yes.
the only person you must expect anything from is yourself. Because if you're
Yeah.
letting yourself down, then you own then what? But
Yeah.
if you're not letting yourself down and you're expecting greatness from yourself every day, you're going to work towards that. But if you're
Yes.
expecting just to be average and do average and just be a sheep in the system that just follows everyone else and does the mundane rubbish in life, then that's the path that you've chosen, but you're not expecting enough from yourself. I remember saying to a friend of mine once before that I believe that she could do better. Did she take that the right way? No, she didn't. There was a massive fight. She was really upset because she, at the time, perceived she was doing the best she could. I saw that she could do better. And she
Yes.
has since then done better. But now she expects more from herself. So she has now become her own motivational force to drive forward. So she's only expecting from herself. So expecting from other people and then feeling betrayed when they don't fulfill that expectation. That's not cool.
Yeah. So today's topic, as mentioned, is dealing with betrayal. So let's start speaking about how people can actually deal with it. I mean, one of the very nice notes which was given to our lovely producer Maria, who's here right now, is about trying to erase the impact of the betrayal. And there are so many different ways you can do and deal with this. And then one of the big ways I feel is to meditate on it. Identify why you are feeling betrayed. Is it because of your own expectations? Is it because the person was really just very, very wrong? Because, like I said earlier, I expect not to be cheated on. That is okay expectation. I expect not to be snide by a business partner. I expect not for people to not pay me when I do my job. That is a betrayal of trust. And ways you can deal with it is by things like doing meditation. But you can also get to the stage in your life where you start forgiving people for betraying you, which doesn't make what they're doing right. We get that confused a lot, that whole forgive and forget situation. It doesn't make what they do right. Don't forget. You can forgive, but don't forget. You forgive for your own good. You're forgiving for your own soul, for your own energy. It doesn't mean you have to forget what they've done. It doesn't make what they've done right. Can tell you right now that if somebody, whether it's in a business relationship, a life relationship, or love relationship, and somebody does something, I'll never forget it. I'll forgive you because it's your own journey, but it doesn't make it right at all times.
100%. Um, yes. Now, there's different levels of betrayal. Now, like we said in the beginning, and one of them can be your spouse, it can be family, it could be business. There's so many levels where it can come from. Now, I know, for instance, a lot of people potentially have a partner that cheats on them, and that is a major level of betrayal. And how you handle that is never an easy approach because can it be repaired? Is it continuous? If it's continuous, it can never be repaired. But then you have other things that you need to now consider because betrayal, how often you get betrayed before you actually just wake up every morning broken every day, where
You,
it's
yeah, well, some people, when they get betrayed, they start seeing it as normal. They start blaming themselves. And they allow that pattern to repeat over and over, which often means that they're not learning a lesson. And when you're not learning a lesson from the betrayal, you actually are inviting it into your life. You're allowing it into your life, not inviting it. You're allowing it because it becomes normalized when betrayal is actually not normal. Some people, when they get betrayed, they will betray the person that's betraying them to try and get back at them. It does nothing but damage. It just damages you. It damages your soul completely. You need to learn to do things like control your emotions. You need to learn to let go of the betrayal. But the hardest thing, once you have been betrayed, is taking that leap of faith to trust somebody again, whether it's in the business, whether it's in life, whether it's in love. It's hard to take that leap of faith. And that, again, is your own journey. You need to be healed enough to understand, okay, Eugene is not like Sunil. He won't do this. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But you must also be able to recognize the patterns of when you start getting betrayed?
So there is patterns, and you have a choice to accept the same pattern over and over or learn from those. Okay. Now, sometimes that learning curve is the hardest decision you'll ever make in your life, because if it's like you're in a relationship and you're getting cheated on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or whatever the case might be, and you are being betrayed regularly, then those are situations that you need to, who am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want from my life? Like we've mentioned on these shows before, we focus a lot about this is us, building us up, working on us, investing in us so that we grow as people, so that we become stronger, so that we can achieve more, so that we believe in our capabilities more, so that we are driven more to be able to go and have a better life and not just
Yes.
sit in the same motions, rowing the same boat, not learning from the same lessons over and over.
Yeah. So taking that leap of faith is so hard. As you mentioned, it is very, very hard. But you need to be able to reaffirm your faith daily. Affirmations towards yourself. Remember, it's not about the person betraying, it is about yourself, as we speak about all the time. It's about becoming you, pursuing your journey, embracing yourself, embracing your journey. And trusting people unconditionally is really hard, especially if you've been through many betrayals in your life. And the dangerous part
That's
is when
a,
it's all over into your current life.
that's something that you had mentioned earlier, what I wanted to touch on. Sometimes you might just need someone to talk to. You might not need to trust someone, because you said about finding someone that you can trust, and you might just need someone to talk to so that you can actually just get some of the actual thoughts that are in your head and the the images you have, that just you need to be able to release some of that. Whether you do meditation, whether you pray, whether you vent, whether you go to the ocean and watch the waves while letting the power of the ocean calm you down, or whatever the case might be, finding your way of releasing that built up anger, frustration, all that, you know what I mean, that comes with betrayal is important.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the very nice methods which I've learned about how to deal with betrayal, and so it was made in the notes by our producer Maria, is writing the thoughts and feelings around the betrayal down and throwing the piece of paper away. Another method which I use as a master Reiki practitioner is I light it, I look at it, I say thank you for the lesson, I light it up and I burn it. So it just goes away. You got to do things for yourself and give yourself affirmations. And I'm going to read an affirmation to you now, which I think is very, very cool. And this is an affirmation that you can give for yourself. And this is going to help restore faith in yourself and others when you get to that stage where you are able to do so, right? And it goes like this: I trust the people in my life fully. I have faith that they have respect and genuine intentions towards me. It's deep, it's wonderful, it's powerful. I trust the people in my life fully. I have faith that they have respect and genuine intentions towards me. Now, for somebody who's got insecurities from being betrayed or having their trust broken and all those things, that is a very hard affirmation to do.
I was just about to say.
In business, in life, in love, that is a very hard affirmation. But the moment you can do that kind of affirmation, you know that you are at a stage in your life where you respect yourself enough not to allow people to betray you like they have before. Somebody's betrayed you once and you pick up a pattern and you allow them to do it again. That is nobody's fault but yourself.
Sometimes, yes, I agree with you, but certain people can't get out of certain situations. whether that it's mental, physical, emotional, whether it's cheating, whether it's there's just certain circumstances that you're not going to be able to. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain, but you know what I'm saying, though. Like you can't just move on because there's forces that are holding you back all the time. And I saw it with my mom, for instance, and it, she kept going back. And it was only one day when she had me come there at like 13 years old and go, um, I'm going back to my dad because this is
Yes.
rubbish. For her to
Yes.
go, oh, hang on, to actually, oh wait, a 13-year-old is telling me that this is a toxic environment. I can't stay here. But some people can't leave because they don't have jobs because the partner's provided. So how do you get out of certain aspects of where you would love to just, I'm going to do it for me, but you can't do it for you because there's this controlling force behind you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when it comes to something like that, when it comes to betrayal in that way, whether you're being whether you are experiencing betrayal in your home environment, there's something to learn there. There's always something to learn there. And I think on that note, we'll just take a quick pause and we'll be right back with Monday Motivation.
Sunny Motive, written by Sunil Osman, uses and explains motivational quotes to encourage readers of all ages to take bold steps in life, love, and business. Order your copy now by emailing Lauren Moy Publishing on sales@laurenmoypublishing.com. Also available on takealot.com and amazon.com.
Welcome back to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. We are speaking about betrayal and how to deal with betrayal. And to conclude, Eugene, what do you have to say?
I know that we often like you're going to get betrayed in your life. That's just the way it is. How you deal with it is obviously going to be very important. And yes, there's going to be certain levels of betrayal that's going to take a lot longer to deal with. I'm not saying it's not. But, like I've mentioned before, working on yourself. It's about you at the end of the day. If you're in a situation where you are getting betrayed regularly, finding time to work on you, even if it's just 10, 15, 20 minutes every day, taking that time, working on you, working on you, working on you, you will find that over a certain period of time, you will find the answers you are looking for and you will put yourself in a position where you can get out of that sort of betrayal. If it's people betraying you on social media because of something they've said about you or that sort of betrayal, that level of expectation that you can over time start dealing with that, and you will notice that it won't affect you the more you actually deal with it. If you don't deal with it, it's going to affect you more and more and more the next time, and depression and anxiety and all that goodness that comes with it from not dealing with the issues at hand. So from my point of view, yes, betrayal it sucks. It's part of life. It's going to happen, but dealing with it is key to everything.
Yeah. And in conclusion, from my side, I would like to say don't betray others because of your betrayal that you've been through. Don't let your insecurities from betrayal affect your current life, your current love life, your current business relationships. Do not let it get to you because your present is not your past. It is not your future. It is your present. So if somebody's cheated on you before in a business deal or in your relationship, don't think it's going to happen again unless you identify the same patterns. Don't have expectations because not everybody is like you. And that is dealing with betrayal on Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. Eugene, what is the next topic?
The next topic is respect between men and women. So, This is a good one. Falls in quite
Thank-
nicely with what we've just been talking about. So
There we go.
cool. Have a good one.